is not Islam. The problem is tyranny. And if we convince the decent Muslims of the world, the decent people of the world, the people who are in slavery, essentially, including in many of these states, the women, that we are on their side, we will ultimately prevail, just as we did in World Wars I, II, and III, the Cold War. As we do this, close with this, we will make people nervous. We will make the Saudi royal family nervous. We will make the Mubarak regime in Egypt nervous. And if we succeed in freeing Iraq, and then begin to turn our attention to the Syrias and the Libyas and the other rogue states, and exert pressure for them to change, the Saudi royal family and the Mubarak regime will come to us and they'll say, "We're very, very nervous." And our response should be, "Good. We want you nervous. We want you to realize that now, for the fourth time in 100 years, this country and its allies, its democratic allies, are on the march. We are going to win, and we're going to win because we are on the side of those whom these regimes most fear, their own people." Thank you.
That the Arabs are being set up to be slaughtered. Israel has already decided that Israel has to wage big wars to subdue the Arabs. And these wars may include biological warfare, because the Prophet ﷺ prophesied that the Arabs are going to be wiped out by plague. Swine flu. Swine flu. Taste of things to come. But Israel does not want to wage her big wars and appear naked before the world as an aggressor, because they want Pax Judaica to look good. And so you bring an Arab Spring, but you can only bring that Arab Spring after you have tortured the Arabs for 40 years, humiliated them, barbaric oppression for 40 years. Only then can you bring an Arab Spring. But when the Arab Spring comes, it offers you freedom. That's what they did with the Soviet Union and communism. In order for the United States and Western Europe to look good, they had to engineer a Bolshevik revolution that brought into being communism. And they had to then demonize communism as a prison where people had no freedom. They had to do that to offer a contrast. We are the free world. What nonsense. We have the free market. What rubbish. Which free market? But we swallowed the garbage, didn't we? This is the free world. And this is free trade, and this is the free market, and all that rubbish and garbage. Why? Because they created communism to use that as the bogeyman. And after they had finished that job, then they demolished communism. We don't need it anymore. Similarly, they did that with the Arabs for 40 years, so that they could come with the Arab Spring. You could not have an Arab Spring without those 40 years of torture and oppression. You had a beard and you land in Egypt as an Egyptian, you're in trouble. Tunisians couldn't go to the masjid. Women couldn't be in hijab. A president in Tunisia said, Ramadan is not conducive to economic growth. And then another one wanted to take Ramadan out of the summer, or put Ramadan at a time when everybody would be relaxing and so on. Change it from Ramadan, the fast. The Arab Spring is meant to bring about elections, democracy, so-called freedom. And in these elections you could close your eyes if you understand Islamic eschatology. The Islamic parties have to win. They have to have landslides. How did I know this? I said it months ago. I don't have an angel whispering into my ear. I don't have a jinn. All the jinn are in Washington. I'm not a prophet. How did I know that the Islamic parties are going to win the elections, in the Arab elections? It's because of Islamic eschatology, you dum-dum. Why don't you study it? But you cannot study Islamic eschatology unless you use this methodology. Majma'ul Bahrain. When the Islamic parties win the elections and form government, number one, you have to bring Sharia. Number two, you have to support the Palestinians. And on both fronts they have time bombs waiting to explode. And then the Islamic parties and governments are going to be declared terrorists. And then Israel will be able to wage her wars while claiming to the world, we're only defending ourselves from terrorists. Are we saving mankind from the menace of Islam? That's why. What can you do? You can start in the Arab world by creating a new generation of scholars of Islam who have the capacity to study and deliver Islamic eschatology, that you'll understand the reality that you're facing in the world today. Unless you understand that reality, you cannot respond to it.